my channel. So in today's video, I have a story about Jack and the Beanstalk. So let's begin. There was once upon a time a poor widow who had only a son named Jack and a cow named Milky White, and all they had to live on was the milk the cow gave every morning, which they carried to the market and sold. But one morning, Milky White gave no milk, and they didn't know what to do. We must sell Milky White and with the money start a shop or something, said his mom. All right, mother, says Jack. It's market day. Today I'll soon sell Milky White, and then we'll see what we can do. So he took the cow's halter in his hand, and off he started. On the way to market, Jet met a man. The man had a large curly mustache and was wearing a sparkly yellow cloak. He started with interest at Daisy and then said, "What a fine cow you have there, Jack." "How do you know my name?" asked Jack, confused. "I know a lot of things," chuckled the mysterious man. "For example, I know these beans that I hold in my hands have magical powers. "I will give you these incredible beans in exchange for your cow," suggested the man. "When you plant them, they will grow right up to the sky within just a few hours." "Oh no," replied Jack. "Daisy is all my mother, and I must get a good price for her at market today." "With these beans, you will never have to worry about money again," said the man persuasively. At last, Jack gave in and swapped Daisy for the beans. When Jack arrived back at house, he skipped excitedly into the kitchen. "Are you back already, Jack?" asked his mother. "I do hope you get a good price for Daisy." "Better than that, mother," sang Jack. "I have magical beans." He started to explain about the man he had met, but his mother was not listening. She was extremely angry. She took the beans and threw them out of the window. Jack was sent to his bedroom. He lay down on his bed and cried himself to sleep. The next morning, Jack woke up and noticed that his bedroom was much darker than usual. A shadow fell across the room. He ran outside to investigate. Jack was outstanded by what he saw in his garden. Overnight, the beans had grown into a gigantic beanstalk. It was thicker than the trunk of an ancient tree and covered in healthy green leaves. It was the most amazing plant that he had ever seen. The beanstalk went up high into the clouds. He could not see the top of it. I will climb this beanstalk," said Jack, feeling determined. Jack was fit and strong and started to climb the beanstalk with ease. However, the higher he climbed, the harder it got to find things that he could grab too soon. His limbs started to tire. "I must go on," he said to himself firmly. He grasped the beanstalk and climbed higher up into the clouds. Eventually, he reached the very top. Jack saw an enormous castle. As he stepped closer, he realized that even the door was far bigger than any he had seen before. It had been left slightly ajar, and Jack was able to sneak inside. Jack stared in amazement. All of a sudden, furniture was huge. The chairs and the tables did above him like skyscrapers. There was a bowl of water on the floor for a cat or dog to drink, but it was so big that Jack could even have bathed in it. Suddenly, the floor beneath Jack's feet began to shake, and Jack heard a loud rumbling noise. His heart was beating loudly in his chest as he scurried quickly inside a cupboard to hide. A colossal giant marched into the room. Jack peered nervously through a hole in the cupboard door. The giant's face was covered by blushy brown beard. He had rosy cheeks, and there was now one single hair on the top of his head. "Fee, free, foo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman," bellowed the Jack, menacingly. Jack shivered with fear. The terrifying giant sat down at the table, on the table which was a hand and a golden harp. That glittering harp could caught Jack's eye, and although he was petrified, he watched with a fascination. Lay, said the giant, and the hen laid an egg. The egg was made of solid gold. Jack was mesmerized by the bright shining egg as he watched through the hole in the cupboard's door. Sing, said the giant, and the harp sang a beautiful calming song came out of the harp, and it seemed to cast a sort of spell over the giant because he soon fell asleep. When Jack was certain that the giant was fully asleep, he crept out from his hiding place and skillfully climbed up the table leg and onto the tabletop. He grabbed the hand and the harp and made a daring leap down to the ground. The hen nestled happily under Jack's arm, but the harp was alarmed to be grabbed by a stranger. As Jack headed towards the door, the harp cried, "Help, master!" The harp shouting woke up the snoozing giant. He jumped up from his chair and spotted Jack. Fee, 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 full thumb. I smell the blood of an Englishman, he roared. The giant started to chase Jack. Jack didn't stop to look behind him. He ran with all his might, and the giant got closer and closer. The giant's strides were fast as he was able to catch up with Jack quickly. Jack reached the beanstalk and started to climb back down it. He was breathing very quickly and his heart was racing. It was not easy climbing down the beanstalk while holding onto a hand and a harp. The beanstalk shook. Jack looked upward. The giant had got onto the beans and was climbing down after him. When Jack reached the bottom of the beanstalk, he stumbled onto the ground, utterly exhausted. Help! He shouted at the top of his voice. He knew that the giant wasn't far behind of him. Jack's mother came rushing towards the beanstalk with an axe in her hand. Without hesitation, she sprinted to the base of the beanstalk and began chopping at it frantically. Jack's mother was delighted to see the golden harp in the hand. The harp now seemed happy to call Jack his new master, and the hen quickly started to lay golden eggs on Jack's command. In fact, Jack was able to sell the golden eggs to buy Daisy back. They didn't have to worry about having enough money again, and they all lived happily ever after. So I hope you loved this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and don't forget to share it to your friends. Bye!